missed talking Dolphin football. I know Zaz wants to talk Dolphin football.
What a team.
Well, I was in here 2 days ago, so I did talk Dolphin football.
No, but the Tua thing happened after that and engulfed the team in flames.
Okay,
The McDaniel reacting to Tua, and now it's that dumb conversation.
Right.
Now it's instead of talking about the Jets, the Dolphins get an extra week of everyone's laughing at them because there's only one now that they fired Callahan where you're like, oh, they don't know what they're doing at all. Like, it's not even about losing. It's just like, oh, the Saints will win a game here and there. But that team down there in Miami is about to implode. Like, their fast receivers out after 2 games. And then what are they going to do? Oh, they don't have enough of anything. The whole thing's going to collapse. Who's going to get fired? And quarterback saying, not me.
I mean, I think among the most embarrassing things going on with the Dolphins now, it's not just that Tom Brady's out of the league and now the Dolphins missed that opportunity and the Bills are doing what the Patriots did. But on top of that, the Patriots have now actually lapped the Dolphins where they were able to somehow rebuild and then be better than the Dolphins again.
Yeah, Drake,
that to me is maybe the most embarrassing part.
Drake May has been really, really good. But if I can say one thing about the Tua controversy, which to me should not be a controversy, I think I'm the only one in the media
I don't hear
defending
anyone
Tua.
doing this. You are literally alone. Who else? Joe Rose isn't doing it. Everyone is bailed on this ship except for the homerific Cody who's saying that's Tua trying to exhibit leadership. I've heard no one else say that.
Okay. Tua's problem is not what he said. Tua's problem is the broad public perception that he hasn't earned the right to say it. Okay? If Dan Marino says the exact same words, everybody's going, wow, that took balls to say that. He's right. Danny's expressing leadership. He's stepping forward and saying, hey, you guys get your act together. This bull is where we shouldn't be playing this terribly.
But Marino was amazing from the get-go. He earned it immediately.
Oh, but this is such a good place that Cody is making this argument from. Everybody knows the ship be sinking. Like, it's all done. Rarely do you get one of these calamities, sports calamities, that everyone in the country's looking down there and saying, that might be worse than the Jets, and look, the Patriots are better and the Bills are better. We love this sport. Patriots ruled it. Are the Patriots going to rule it again? Look what's happening with the Jets and the Dolphins. They fought over Fitzpatrick. Bills tried him too. This has been funny for 20 years. Now it collapses in Miami in a way that's louder than the Jets, who don't know how to coach. Like, the Jets don't know how to coach what's happening there. They are coaching calamities there. That's an amateur football team. It's not because the talent's amateur. It's like everything happening there is the most amateur thing in the league. Penalties, stupidities, and that's the worst team in the league by miles. Like, we've seen no greater incompetence this season than the Jets' passing game in the last game. Took the stink to 2 countries. But laughing is in Miami. Jets are done. Everyone's finished. But the laughing's in Miami because the quarterback and the coach are fighting, and it's loud as hell. And there's only one columnist in America who's saying, I don't see it on national television either. No, Tua's trying to lead here, but the company, the region, doesn't believe he's actually Marino. It believes he's a failure too, who's going to get swallowed by the mess. So he has no backing except Cody.
Okay, let's make this clear. He is speaking as a captain of the team and as the starting quarterback. Okay?
About player-only meetings.
Yeah.
That's like that's like the leaders of the team lead those meetings.
Okay, right, who's the leader of a player-only meeting if not Tua?
He is.
Right,
but he's questioning the leadership.
He's like, we have people not showing up to these things. Whose responsibility is it to pressure people and make people feel like they need to show up to these things?
When you call a players-only meeting, you don't call people 20 minutes before the meeting and say, hey, you're going to be there, right? You assume they're going to be there. And when they don't show up, and then you blow the game in the manner that they blew it, you're frustrated enough and angry enough to say something. I don't blame the honesty in that.
I appreciate your perspective here, but what do you make of Mike McDaniel coming out and saying Tua shouldn't have done it that way?
I think he didn't support his quarterback. I think what he said about Tua was worse than what Tua said about his unnamed teammate.
The ship be sinking, guys. Like, this is how it... Man, they don't want to be laughed at by everybody.
I think... Isn't Chris supposed to be the frat guy? Why are you doing that?
Twice you did that,
be
DLB.
Sinking? Is that an apostrophe
no,
after sinking?
It's just... It's what it's famous for. I'm sorry. I wasn't...
Wasn't that in the Toronto Blue Jays clubhouse one time?
No, this is...
I mean, don't get me wrong. You sounded super-duper cool when you said it.
Pop your collar next time.
I deserve that, but the story I'm remembering, and it's an ancient one, that the tabloids, when they were feeding in New York, back when the tabloids in sports meant something, okay, and basketball meant something that it doesn't even mean today, I wouldn't say, with today's Knicks, okay? Everybody was laughing in New York at the basketball team, and I'm forgetting the name of the player. It's a famous quote. The ship be sinking comes from a famous New York player.
Michael Ray Richardson.
So forgive me for forgetting the name. But the moment that he said that, he gave fodder to the media to make the city explode, and now everyone laughs at this team because in his own voice, that guy just said, we all know that it's all going down. Everyone's going to get fired. We're all going to lose our jobs. I've never seen it happen like this in Miami. Tell me when. Tell me when you've seen that it's coming out to clean house. Like, just sweep everyone out of here. The owner's old. He's a billionaire. He's a very successful man in every other way. This team continues to embarrass him because it's an international failure. And now everyone wants everyone out of town. It's never happened in this market before.
I feel like it's happened to the Dolphins like 4 times this century.
With Flores.
I'm pretty sure, without any hyperbole, I say this, we are witnessing an all-time worst Miami Dolphins season. Not the worst, but one of the all-time worst Miami Dolphins seasons.
This
right?
one sticks out because this pain is so drawn out.
We went into the season kind of feeling like this.
You were at a tipping point already,
Yeah.
where all the other ones, like the season kind of fell apart later in the year, and then it was understood that guys would go, and sometimes you had interim head coaches. Just Mike McDaniel's there just twisting in the wind. There doesn't appear to be a
everybody
path.
knows what the end of the rainbow looks like, or I shouldn't say rainbow.
There doesn't appear to be a path for anybody. Mike McDaniel, Greer, Tua. There doesn't. So what are we doing here? Just kill it. Get a better draft pick.
I think the funny thing about this team is that it could be like vastly different had just 1 or 2 plays gone different ways in different games while also not being different at all. Like, had HN not stepped out of bounds in the Patriots game, they would have won the Patriots game.
But this is the stuff that happens to bad teams,
saying. But what I'm saying is, had they won that Patriots game, that's another win instead of a loss. Had they held on and won that Panthers game and not given up a second game-winning drive to Bryce Young, they would have won and not lost.
But continually doing stupid things is what bad teams do.
No, but what I'm telling you is, that same thing could have happened with the Chargers, where they make a tackle, they win that game, and you could be looking at a team that has a winning record.
It's so funny.
That is not good.
Yeah,
and then you don't make the changes that are necessary. So while the team is what the team is, these bad mistakes could end up helping them long term because it can give them such a bad record that they ultimately do what they've needed to do, which is completely clean house. They need to get rid of Greer. They need to get rid of McDaniel. They need to likely figure out a way to move on from Tua. But if they have a winning record, they're not going to do that, and they're going to be stuck in the same position, and it's just dumb plays and mistakes that have put them in the position to finally make the decisions that they've needed to make.
You brought up interesting points, but does this team feel close to you? Like that
you
may
could
be
talk
so.
You could talk yourself into it if the team's 4-2.
But I think that's exactly what you're doing, talking yourself into it, because they don't appear that close.
They have 6 one-possession games.
Oh, Billy's right. I mean, come on. The whole league is
This
upside down.
team looks like trash. This is like, from a neutral observer, that's a garbage team and always has been this season.
No,
and you guys got blinded by some weird shit. I'm not exactly sure. This has always been a bad team.
Yeah, but
Greg never made sense with his projections. Like, it was a bad team. It was one of the jokes in the league.
But Stephen Ross has never made the decision, is never going to make the decision with this group of people if they continue having a winning record or being a game away from the playoffs. They're like, we'll add here, we'll add there. They didn't add anything last. I mean, they added Waller, which Dan ended up being right about Waller, which is like crazy. But they wouldn't have made like large-scale changes if they had a 7-10 record.
This is what we needed, is what you're
you
arguing.
either want to be really good or really bad.
They're having that conversation in Cleveland, and do you think Cleveland's close to being a good team?
Well,
I don't.
Which one of you was saying that Cleveland is a must-win game for the Dolphins?
It is.
Yeah, they got to win that one.
I think that if they lose at Cleveland, I think McDaniel might be fired after that game.
Why wouldn't, to Billy's point, why don't you just lean in at this point to McDaniel, make this a bad season?
Well, no, it's not like it gets better when there's an interim coach.
Sometimes you bring in an interim coach, all of a sudden they
Sometimes you get a
He's
brief
Dan
bounce.
Campbell. Sometimes it's Dan Campbell.
If I'm Ross, I leave it and I'm like, you know what? I'm out. I'm out on these guys.
No,
but
but
I
the
let
reason
it. I let
you
it
got to
stay.
make the change if you're Ross, you have to show the fan base, I'm angry also. I'm willing to make big changes.
Well, he did that look behind you on the sidelines. He put his hands on his head, and that was like, whoa, that was a statement by Stephen Ross. That's as mad as we've seen him. Who's the Dolphins' Jeff Saturday that they could be like, hey, you want to come in and just kind of stand on the sideline for half a season? Marino's never going to do that. We know Marino's not
Jason
going to do that.
Taylor's at the University of Miami.
Yeah, he's tied up at the
What's
moment.
Zach Thomas doing?
That's a good question, ZT. Chris.
Sam Madison did some coaching.
Sam Madison.
ZT, that's your trick, Chris.
I just said
Marine.
Marine.
That's
a bad one.
On Marino, you made him Marine, and that was you and
Which
your
is just as long
character.
as Marino. We just changed the last letter.
Dan the man.
That's a good one, Roy.
It's a cursed franchise. Here's an example. When they went 1-15, that was not a panacea. Okay, they drafted Jake Long, I believe it was, instead of Matt Ryan. Okay, they had a good year the next year in Sperano's first year, and then they went 7 years in a row without a winning record. So even if you go 1-16 now, it would be, and get that top draft pick, it's no guarantee if you don't have good people making the picks. Look. Everybody's going to be fired here, okay? McDaniel's going to be fired. Chris Greer's going to be fired. It's just the only thing we're arguing about is when. Should it be right now? Should it be at the end of the season? That's the only debate here. We all agree this has been a nightmare season, and the current regime won't survive it.
Greg, would you agree that McDaniel has had the blueprint in place to show that this offense can score 70 points, can be really good? If they went out and fired Chris Greer instead of McDaniel, how would that make you feel?
Well, right now the problem is defense, even though everybody thinks Anthony Weaver's one of the best defensive coordinators in the league.
Why does anyone think that?
Because he's pedigreed from the Baltimore Ravens when the Ravens were really good, so you assume he knows what he's doing.
GC, I think you're making a leap from a respected defensive coordinator to one of the best in the league. Like, I agree with you. I don't think anyone looks at him as the problem, but
Right.
like you just made a leap to one of the best in the league.
No, and in fact, one of the things in play here is that everybody would say, okay, if they fire McDaniel next week or the week after, the assistant coach who's fit to take over is probably Anthony Weaver, who happens to be the leader of one of the worst defenses in the league. So how would that look? You know, what kind of an optic is that if you're Stephen Ross?
You also can't keep Mike McDaniel. Like, it can't be just get rid of Greer. No, you can't. McDaniel has lost this team. Like, he does not have the guys believing in him whatsoever. It's very obvious, and just changing Greer is not going to fix that.
Well, and no general manager is going to come in and
Right.
say, yeah, Mike McDaniel, that's my top choice to be the coach.
Right.
No one's going to do that.
No, the GM will want his own head coach. Now, he may be forced to live with Tua for the next couple of seasons, but he absolutely would be able to bring in his own head coach.